The day that you start Social Security impacts the rest of your life. But a lot of people, they don't look at how big of an impact the day that you start actually makes in dollar terms. One of the cases that I'm going to show you, it saved them over $100,000 over their lifetime. And they almost made what seemed like a very simple decision, but they didn't look at all of the options. One of the overlooked things is the day that you decide to start Social Security also impacts how much your spouse is going to get. So we both can agree that this is a big deal, whether you're married or divorced. Spending just a few minutes right now that can help you make sure that you make the best decision for you and for your spouse, and make sure that you don't make the mistakes that other people might make that causes them to miss out on tens of thousands of dollars. We're going to look at a few different examples here, and then we'll look at how to maximize your spousal benefits and avoid those costly mistakes. And then number two, when it might make sense to start Social Security as early as possible. And then number three is how the rules for spousal benefits change depending on whether you're married or whether you're divorced. And I want to thank a recent subscriber to this channel that we talked, and one of his big questions was around Social Security, and it inspired this video. So thanks, Bill. And if I haven't met you yet, I'm Dave Zoller, and I own a retirement planning firm called Streamline Financial, and we helped hundreds of people retire and design their ideal retirement over the last decade and a half. And we share the best strategies on this channel that our clients use to make their retirement the best years of their life yet. Now let's get into maximizing the spousal benefit. We're going to look at Linda and John as an example here. They're both 62, and figuring out where they're going to start Social Security or when they're going to start Social Security. So Linda said, I did a preliminary plan and we're thinking that maybe John and I should just start now. We're both retired. We kind of want the income to start. And it just seems like that makes the most sense because we can either pull money out of our accounts or we can start Social Security. And we just thought we don't want to take money from our investments just yet. And we've also got a few big vacations coming up, and we've been delaying these for years, and we might even pull from our investments regardless, but we just don't want to pull out too much too early in retirement. Does that kind of make sense? So I said, that makes a lot of sense. This is really the go-go years, right? This might be the time to spend more than we will be for the rest of retirement because we're young and we can move and we can do all these things now. But I want to take a look at a few scenarios here so you can make the best decision possible. So what they said makes sense, but they didn't realize the long-term impact on the decision that they make today. And I'm going to round numbers here just to make it easy. So if John took his benefit at age 62, they're both the same age. Instead of getting the full retirement benefit at age 67, he'd only be getting 70% of his full retirement benefit. So let's look at full retirement benefit, $3,000. If he starts at age 62, he'd be getting $2,100 per month. And Linda knew her benefit was much lower than John's because she spent a lot of the last 30 years being the mom CEO of the family, right? Raising the kids and making sure everybody stayed alive. So she knew she'd probably take half of John's benefit, which is a common thing that a lot of times a lower income earning spouse will do. And because Linda wanted to start early as well at age 62, that means her spousal benefit would be reduced as well. So she wouldn't be getting half of what John's was. If she waited, she would be getting only 35% of his full retirement benefit, which comes to $1,050. So together, they'd be getting $3,150 per month, which is pretty good, right? That's $37,800 per year that they wouldn't have to take out of their investment accounts. That's kind of one of their goals. Right after this, I want to show you how these changes are different for different ages. Right now, we're looking at two people who are the same age, but what if John's older? What if Linda's older? All these things come into play. So we'll look at these factors coming up next. But for this case, they both realize this one decision, it's a permanent decision, and John's locking in $900 less than if he were to wait until full retirement age. And then Linda's locking in $450 less than her full benefit at full retirement age. And together, that's a loss of $1,350 per month. So $1,350 per month. And over 20 years, that amounts $324K. Now, again, that's not a direct comparison because they're going to be starting this and taking it for the next few years. And when you compare these numbers and everything all together, it's about over $100,000 is the difference if they're living until for the next 30 years. So once they saw this and saw the big difference in lifetime benefit, the next step was to model out their retirement income plan and show the withdrawals coming from their investment accounts first over the next 5 years. So rather than we did a scenario where we said, okay, let's not start Social Security. Let's use the investment accounts first to supplement the income we need and take the trips and do all the things we need. And let's let this benefit grow to the full retirement age benefit. Now let's move on to what does it look like at different ages and how does that change things? Now there's two rules to note here. Number one, the spouse who is taking the spousal benefit cannot start their benefit until the higher earner starts theirs. Number two is the one that's taking the spousal benefit, it's based on their own age, not the age of their spouse. So pretend Linda is 67 and that's her full retirement age here. And John was 62. And he decided he's going to start his benefit at age 62. Same numbers that we were using before. He's going to be taking $2,100 per month. And now if Linda, who is already age 67, if she filed for a spousal benefit, she'd receive half of John's full retirement age benefit. So in this case, she'd be receiving $1,500 per month. So even though he's not waiting until full retirement age, he's starting his early, it doesn't negatively impact the higher income earner here. So she still gets half of what his full retirement age is, his benefit, even though he started his early. I've got a few more age variations to go over where next John's going to be older. And then I'll share when it makes sense to start Social Security as soon as possible. And then how it changes if you're divorced. Let me know if you're liking this video so far by clicking the like button, because I'm doing a few images here more so than I usually do. I'd like to know, is it helpful? Do you like these images? Is it simplifying it to understand it? Let me know in the comments below. If it is, it's always helpful. And then I could do more of what's most useful for you. But let's take a look now at John and where John is older, where he's 67 and Linda is 62. So John's 67, he starts his full retirement benefit of $3,000 because he's full retirement age. And Linda is 62. So if she starts now, she's only going to be getting 35% of John's full retirement age benefit because she's starting it early, which was that 1,050. And it's important to note that each year she waits, the benefit's going to go up until she gets to that full 50% of John's $3,000 benefit. So if she waited, then she'd get that $1,500 per month. Now, what happens if they were the same age, but they waited until 70? So way past their full retirement benefit, waited until 70, because each year they wait, the benefit for John goes up 8%. So him waiting gets him to age 70, which is $3,720. And then if Linda waits until 70, or she's the same age as well, and she starts, she's not getting half of that age 70. She's still getting the $1,500, half of his full retirement age benefit. So that's a lot of information, a lot of variations here, different things. Hopefully one of those fit with what you and your spouse are, what your ages are. I hope that was helpful, but there's more, because also if that didn't click 100%, rewind and then watch again, slow-mo and see if you can figure that out. But if you're doing good so far, let's look at why it might make sense to start Social Security as early as possible. So not wait until 67 or your full retirement age, but start it at 62. Number one is health concerns, right? If John had a health condition that meant he's unsure if he's going to live into his 80s, or there's a familial thing that's common with his family, if he doesn't think he's going to live past his mid 70s or early 80s, delaying till 67 or 70 would not allow him to really fully benefit from getting the larger monthly payments, right? There's a break-even point. A lot of times it's mid 80s. So maybe it makes sense to start early and use the money now. Number two is if John and Linda had zero other options for income, right? If they didn't have their savings, or if they just had small amounts of investments and savings, sometimes you have to start at 62. It's actually very common for people in America to start at 62 because it's make sense to use Social Security versus going into credit card debt or something like that. And then number three is the break even. It's just maximizing lifetime benefits, really due to those health concerns. And here's what I mean. If John claims at 62, he'll receive $2,100 per month for over the next 12 years, assuming he lives till 74. So that's $302,400. Now, if John waits till 67, he's going to receive $3,000 per month starting at 67, but only over seven years. So that's if he lives till 74. So he'd receive a total of 252,000. That's it, 252,000. So there's a big difference there, 302 versus 252 if your lifetime's shorter. So it's just calculating those max. What's the max benefit based on certain how long you think you're going to live? For John, in that case, it's about $50,000 over his lifetime. And that would be an easier decision. Again, you never know. You're making a best educated guess. For a lot of us, we're healthy. We're planning on living past mid-70s into 80s. So if you've got the freedom to and the option, a lot of times it makes sense to wait until full retirement age. But talk to your planner about that. One question, though, I get often is, what about that file and suspend thing that they used to do? We actually used to do this a lot before 2016, I think, is when they ended it. It's, can she start hers now? Linda started now, and then take half of his later. So what if Linda, what if they were 62? What if she started taking her own benefit now, not half of John's, and wait until 67 and then take a higher amount, which is half of John's? That doesn't work anymore. They closed that loophole, or whatever you want to call it. That's no longer available. Now let's look at the main point number 3, which is the difference between married and divorced claims. And a lot of people don't realize the spousal rules do change whether you're married or whether you were divorced before. I've seen divorce clients, they leave thousands of dollars on the table because they didn't know they could actually claim on their ex-spouse's benefit. One of my clients, we'll call her Susan, she came to me thinking that Social Security wasn't going to be big for her because she didn't have a job for most of her adult life, because she was helping raise the kids and doing everything at home. She got a divorce later on in life, and then she didn't realize, though, that she could actually claim half of her ex-husband's benefit because they were married for more than 10 years. And that changed her entire retirement plan. It really made a big, big difference. So just to repeat, if you're divorced, you may be able to claim the benefit on your ex-spouse's Social Security once they turn 62, and you're in your 60s as well, even if they're not drawing from their benefits yet. That's the big difference. Whereas when you're married, if you're doing the spousal, taking half, you have to wait until the person with the higher benefit starts, but not so for divorced people. As long as you were married for at least 10 years and you haven't remarried, you may be eligible to claim. And here's the kicker. For Susan, her ex-spouse didn't even know, and it didn't impact him at all. They're not going to be notified that Susan was doing this. It was really, it's actually kind of nice. There's no sort of conversation needed because nobody gets negatively impacted here. So that was a lot. That was kind of a crash course of these spousal benefits and how it changes with age, whether you're married or divorced. If that was helpful, please give this video a like, and then look for these videos here on 7 essential accounts for retirement, and then also how to maximize that strategic withdrawal strategy to really save on taxes. That's an important one. And then one more here to just make your retirement better. So hope it was helpful. I'm Dave Zoller. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.